cogent, relevant, all that. Kudos to you guys. But let that man have that.
It's the afternoon show, weekdays at 3 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no two people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart, it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now save 40% on the Sleep Number Special Edition smart bed for a limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
This is your host and life coach, Linnell Harris, and I want you to join me every Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Inspirational Perspective. On Inspirational Perspective, we talk life vision, life purpose, and the show is all about helping you live the best life possible. So join me as we look at supporting you in living the life you intend to live and making your life's vision a reality. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 a.m. WVON.
It's Tio Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
They call him Mr. Ceasefire. They call him Mr. Ceasefire. Stopping shootings and killings almost every day. Trying to make a better way. They call him Mr. Ceasefire. Mr. Ceasefire. He's a man on a mission with a plan. Doing the best he can. A true champion for the people, saving one life at a time. Not worry about nothing, but saving a life.
Oh yeah, we good. All right. Chicagoland, good morning to you. Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman here live in the studio. It's an honor to be here. It's a real honor to be here, and I want to thank God. I don't take nothing for granted. I'm grateful to be healthy, strong, here physically, spiritually, and mentally, and I mean that, and I like to really spread that word to everybody throughout the universe. Now, here it is with WVON. I want to send a shout-out to Melody Span Cooper and her husband, Pierre Cooper, right? Then we lost one of our legends, Brother Peebo Bryson. That brother there was cold-blooded. When I was, growing up in Chicago, I looked up to Peebo Bryson, Jeffrey Osborne, Teddy Pendergrass, super soul singers, I always did. And that was just my thing. I never became a professional singer, but I sing a little bit. I might do a little Peebo in a minute here. We'll see what happens with that. But when you want to call in today, I would like for you to call in. I plan to talk about why is Chicago so violent? And because, there's been gun violence in Chicago for decades. It didn't just happen overnight. All the way back to the gangster days, the Al Capone era, and all those people there. But back to brother, as far as some of the sponsors of the show, Violence Interrupters, that's my organization, Violence Interrupters, not-for-profit organization. Then you also have Edwards Fashions out in Roseland community. If you need some nice clothes as a gentleman, go out there and check out Edwards Fashions, right, on 114th in Michigan. And if you need some work done on your car, check out my man Boz Midas shop over on 74th in Stony Island. Then you have, Brother Spencer Leak passed away. We want to send a shout out to his family, Brother Spencer Leak Jr. Spencer Leak Jr. passed away. Solid young man. I knew him personally as well. And then, like I said, if you need some work done on your car, check out Boz Midas on 74th, Stony Island. There's been 2 new restaurants open on Stony Island as well. Around 82nd and Stony Island is Southern Comfort food there. Right around 82nd in Stony Island. Then you have Jerk Chicken Place right there. So that's what's happening. So I want to send a shout out to all the Peebo Bryson lovers real quick before I begin the topic here. And I'm glad to see people calling. So Peebo did a duet with Roberta Flack, The Closer I Get to You, originally composed by Donny Hathaway. But Peebo did his version. But Peebo was just cold-blooded, And I grew up in the hood, and I used to listen to him all night long, here and there. That's back when brothers were real cool, right? So here we go. The closer I get to you, the more you make me feel like giving you all I've got, girl. Your love has conquered me over and over again. I try to tell myself that we could never be more than friends. And all the while inside, I knew it was real. The way you make me feel. That's Brother Peebo's version there, man, of The Closer I Get to You, all right? I wanted to put that out there because I rehearsed it a little bit yesterday because I didn't want to mess nothing up on Brother Peebo. And then he had that song, I'm So Into You, Feel the Fire, something that you told me, stayed in my head all night long. You wanted me to love you. That's right. When you said, reach out and touch me, right? And then I'm so into you, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know you pay. Let me see. All right, I ain't gonna do that right now because I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to mess nothing up. But you know, he said, people, the words of that particular song, I used to sing it all the time. He was talking about how the lady paid her dues. Here we go. You know you paid your dues right from the start. What a price to pay. I'm so in love with you. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Brother Peebo, for those who love Peebo, I just did a little something for you. It'll come back to me later on, right? Later on in the game. It is kind of early in the morning. So with that being said, let's get down to the real subject at hand this morning, my good people, all right? Why is Chicago so violent? Or some of us may look at Chicago as if it's not violent, right? We may look at it that way. Now, I looked at some of the numbers in the universe. Caucasian people kill each other basically at the same rate that African-American people kill one another if you look at the numbers on a national level. But in some of our cities like Chicago, Baltimore, Memphis, St. Louis, Detroit, LA, the list goes on and on and on. And Latino people kill each other also because it's all about saying, close proximity or whatever you want to say. The people kill their own people. But in Chicago, we have an epidemic across the nation, not just Chicago, across the nation. We have an epidemic of violence going on out here. So why do you think Chicago is so violent? Over the weekend, a friend of mine called me. His son was killed over there on Springfield and Adams. His son was killed, about 28 years old. Last week, we had a couple of multiple shootings. Multiple people got shot, women being killed everywhere. And then I want to say this before I take some callers in. Check it out. When you talk about solutions, right? Nobody, in my opinion, now the views on this show are not the views of WVON. They are not the views of WVON, right? But the reality when it comes down to stopping killings in the African-American community, one thing that's killing us more than anything else is our lack of unity, our lack of structure, and our lack of discipline in our community. It's incumbent upon the men to make that happen. Now, some people would argue and say, well, Black people in particular have been hit with a lot of demonic forces, the failed war on drugs, the prison industrial complex, you name it, the rise of the street organizations and all that kind of stuff there. We had the crack cocaine era, we had all kinds of stuff, the heroin era, and you name it. And now I grew up in the hood. I just want to put it like this here, right? I knew some brothers that were kind of like gunslingers at an early age. Some of my best friends were gunslingers at an early age, right? So some of my friends, they grew up just thinking violently at the age of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the same thing going on today was actually going on in the late 70s. It's just you did not have social media back then. You did not have all this stuff, all these different ways to put the information out there. So I don't want nobody to be confused. Gun violence has been going on in Chicago forever. Now, before we go all the way back a few decades ago, you have to go back to the Al Capone era. John Dillinger was killed in Chicago. Prolific bank robber, he was killed in Chicago, leaving out of a theater with a lady dressed in red, right? He couldn't get to his gun. He couldn't get to the gun. The federal agents, they got him. But the point I'm making here is that Al Capone, St. Valentine's Day Massacre, the gangster, they was fighting over, during the years of the era of prohibition. So gun violence has been a part of Chicago. Now, looking through the years, and I do some research as well, when you think about everything that's going on in Chicago throughout the universe, you have to look at those years around 1930, 1940, 1950. You had more unity within the black household, all right? Those years right there. The data dictates that during the 1950s, over 75% of black men were in the family helping to raise their sons and daughters, right? Now you usher into the 60s and the 70s, those numbers began to kind of decline in a major way. But that does not mean that the fathers are not still taking care of their kids. So is it an issue with a lack of fathers in the house that leads these young brothers out here? And let me say this too. When you think about the teen takeovers, you have it where the majority of the teens that are involved in the takeovers are African-American teenagers. So is there a breakdown in the black family that leads to a lot of this chaos and craziness out here, right? So let's talk about it. Let me take my first caller right here. Cat Daddy, good morning to you.
Good morning. I know people don't like me to bring him up, but I think we need to take a look at Nayib Bukele's authoritarian rule in El Salvador.
Well, check this out, Cat Daddy. I'm gonna let you talk. Don't get me wrong. I got a lot of people want to get in. I understand what's happening in El Salvador. The man is locked up. What, 90% of all the murderers in El Salvador?
That's what I'm not. What I'm talking about. You jump.
I'm jumping to the gun on you. Go ahead. Go on and finish, Cat Daddy.
Yeah. What I'm saying is he attributes part of his success to teaching the youth in school, not just NGO programs or whatever, but in the public schools, the respect for life, liberty, and limb. And we aren't doing that. We've stopped doing that. Back in the 50s and the 60s, and to some extent the 70s, we kind of taught the youth the whole value of pursuing the American dream.
Okay.
And right now, people don't see an American dream. They see an American nightmare. So they don't care about the fact that when you kill somebody or when you rob and whatever, that you drive insurance rates up, that you dissuade people from investing in communities. So until we get back to teaching them that respect, you're going to have violent, as much violent crime as you have, and even more.
Yeah.
Let's
give me a solution. Give me a solution, Cat Daddy. If you were like the mayor, the governor, the president, what would be one of your possible solutions?
Well, you would teach economic literacy in the schools. We don't have that.
Economic literacy, okay.
Yeah, in the schools. For glaring example, no one considered, whoever burnt that cross, whether it was Asian, black, or whatever, didn't consider what would happen if that cross caught on fire in the trees. Fortunately, we haven't had any dry days. But hypothetically, if those trees had caught on fire, there would have been a nice inferno in Grant Park.
Okay. Got you. So, yeah, the gun violence has been around, like I say, for decades. And a lot of times politicians get, in my opinion, a lot of people point fingers at the politicians, but the only people that can stop the killing is the killers, to be honest with you. The killers have to stop killing out there. That's the only person. But see, I understand the mindset of a killer. Don't get me wrong. A lot of times in the nitty gritty and the heartbeat of the ghetto, a lot of things take place that makes people want to, it'll make a person want to hurt or take a life. But on behalf of Violence Interrupters, we interrupt a lot of the violence when we can. If we get a call, we know something's going down, we can get on the front of it and maybe intervene and stop it. But you have to, in order to stop a killing, one must understand the mindset of a killer. Does that make sense to you, Cat Daddy?
Yeah, well, to understand the mindset of a killer, you have to educate them.
Okay.
You have to educate other people. If you don't educate people and let them do whatever and try to hold their hands and be Dr. Spock, that's not going to get it.
Okay, bro. Well, I want to thank you.
You're going to have to educate them and then back that up with consequences.
All right. And I know Father Flager's out there doing a lot of good work on the South Side. A lot of the CVI organizations are doing their best to kind of make things better in Chicago. But we cannot keep going through the same thing year after year in Chicago. We always have over 400 homicides in Chicago. I'm talking about for decades now. And some years it was almost 800, 900, or whatever the case may be, going through the different decades here in Chicago. So there should come a time where we can pretty much get homicides. One is too many, Cat Daddy, but get them under at least 200. I mean, that's a goal I would like to, aim for, okay?
Yeah, well, I want to end by saying that Chicago is no more violent than Los Angeles,
okay,
and New York and all that. But the difference is we have opportunities for educating these kids that the other cities don't take advantage of. Okay. They pretty much said, well, kids will be kids. We got to get out of that thing of kids will be kids, because kids are acting like adults now with no consequences and no education.
All right, my brother. I appreciate that, Brother Cat Daddy, as always. Appreciate your support and your call. It makes sense to me. So everybody, Cat Daddy saying education is key, and then consequences is key. Now, when I talked about the president of El Salvador, what he did, he locked up all the tough guys over there, and he cut his homicide rate by 90-something+%. And I'm not saying you got to just lock everybody up and throw the key away, because a lot of those guys are living in inhumane conditions. But there's two sides of the coin, because you have some people that will say they should be locked up, and some people say give them a second chance. Now, I believe in second chances, but just playing the devil's advocate, some people say, well, they took a life, they need to give their life up. So it's kind of difficult. You have different types of country. Some countries deal with homicide in a different way. Sometimes I think about some of these crimes out here. I'm hearing a lot of crimes about how people have raped kids, have killed women, and especially when it comes down to killing kids and babies and stuff like that. I cannot handle that kind of stuff, because I believe that any guy, like I say, the views on this show are not the views of WVON, right? But, I'm not going to say it the way I really want to say it on the air. But if you kill a kid, that's straight up bogus, man. It is straight up off the charts bogus. If you're struggling with any issue where you got a deep sickness that will lead you to taking the life of a baby or a kid, man, look, that's it's just nothing to really talk about, all right? There's nothing to talk about. And I truly believe there needs to be about 10,000 black men and some women as well to descend upon Chicago and do our best to get our community back in order, right? And I'm not talking about going to war with our young people. I'm not saying nothing like that. I don't want nobody to misunderstand what I'm talking about. But there's a need to get our community back in order on an economic level, on any level we can get it back together on, because people need help out here. And the young brothers, I have to say this, what they're doing is a result of failed leadership. It's a result of failed leadership. Young guys will begin to try to dictate their own policy and their own flow, because they had no one there to a degree to show them the way. They had nobody there to show them the way. A lot of older brothers got hit with the drugs, got hit with all kinds of misinformation, miseducation. So the young guys didn't get the right education. So now it's like every man to themselves. That's what's going on. We got to stop that type of mind. We have to change that mindset. That's what's hurting us in a major way. But needless to say, in the African-American community, the gun violence is not the only thing happening. You do have a lot of successful black men and women in Chicago. So we don't want to just focus there. But, it captures the news, the headlines all the time. So let me take another caller here. Yeah, Dava, good morning to you.
God bless you. Good morning to all the Chicagoans. Okay. I just want to say this, Tio. Yes. Our number one thing is God. People don't want to hear. They want to talk about it. They want to keep pushing him underneath the rug. For real. We're only here because of God. And what we have done as black people, we have lost our way. We decided we wanted to do everything our way instead of Yahweh. But let me say this to you. At 13 years old, Tio, I was putting young people to work at the black McDonald owners and places like that with Edward Wimp and McSween and all those other people. At 16, okay. I was working for major hotels, Holiday Inn, High Regency, where Pritzker was owned, and things of that sort. What I did is to keep my friends motivated and my little sisters and family members that were younger than me. I helped them get jobs, okay? That was the main thing back in the day. Not summer jobs, regular jobs. And so that's number one. Number
what you gonna
two,
do for the people that don't want to work, Dava? What you gonna do?
Okay, so this is what we do with our organization.
They don't want to work.
Okay.
I know some.
I know. Okay, let me get to that part. And so, so what I decided to do is join other organizations that deal with training. Our organization right now, the Just Us and the new AOL, Advocacy 49 Leaders, we send people to trade programs, training programs, education programs, entrepreneurship, as well as employment. So you don't have to work. My sons graduated out of high school at 16. One was at Dunbar, one was at Phillips. I took them out. They said, you can't take your child out. He's only 16. I'm taking my child out of the school because the game's coming in and then my kids are going out. They went to Make a Challenge at 16. Both of them graduated with honors, got scholarships, go to college, and came back with $2,500. There are programs where we have to want to do that. But let me get, now both of my children are grown now, almost 50 years old. They make big money, trades and everything. Let me say this, Tio, please listen to me. This is our end of what's going to take place. What I'm telling you all, I don't care if you call it prophecy or whatever. But what we have to remember, there's a list of things that's causing the violence. Remember, Tio, the Bible said, do not be deceived, for I'm not mocked. Whatever man sowed, he going to reap. You mentioned it. Tio, you gave all the answers yourself. You said the gangs and all of the people like that in the streets doing all of those bad things. Well, you know you're going to get paid back. That's the reaping. So if our black men was doing all of these things on a bad note, like you mentioned that yourself, then it's coming back to our family, our children. Same thing. If you don't have a mother and father in the home, that's another reason what you sow, because you're supposed to be married to birth children. The point I'm trying to get to, Tio, our answers are already here, my brother. But you got to get the people that want to adhere. Money cannot stop violence. But they got millions of dollars for violence within your money, right? It's not going to stop violence. Hold on, one more thing, Tio. What's happening is that all the things that have an effect on us is the drugs, religion, politics, and everything else. What I'm saying to you is that the only thing that could stop violence is we have to go back to prayer. That's why for 15 years, Tito, we have a prayer call. I invited thousands of people from Chicago for 15 years. And at the Hale Washington Park, we pray every Saturday at 12 noon and 8 o'clock on a Facebook Live. No one comes to prayer calls until something happens. My whole thing is just that the money, drugs, sex, religion, politics, greed, hatred, all that is scripture. And that's what's going on until we, as a group of people, change our way, Tio, and do it the right way. I don't care about nobody getting money, but make sure you do what you have to do when you get the money, Tio.
Thank you, Dava. I appreciate it. Makes a little sense to me there. Now, the reality is a lot of the CVI organizations, violence prevention organizations, are doing the best they can do to try to curtail some of the violence. No one's 100%, but there are a lot of people putting out a strong effort to stop the killings in Chicago. But we have to do a better job of catching some of this stuff on the front end. Now, some of the people on the WVON Facebook page, one lady said we need to send the brothers to the Nation of Islam so they can get the discipline they need, which I totally agree with that myself, because if you notice, the Muslim brothers are very well disciplined, structured, and whatever you can do. And our Dava made sense that people can turn to God, and that might help people gain a conscience, because some people don't have a conscience out here. And Al Stone saying black folks have made a prison out there as far as what's going on, appearances, presentation, community, and culture. So we've kind of lost our culture to a degree. And then Brother Al Stone, stop the violence, people before they return from the guys, before they get out the penitentiary, we have to work with them while they're in the penitentiary, which I agree on that, with that as well. So it's a lot of different ways to kind of stop or curtail the gun violence. But overall, it's rough out here because some people do not know how to control their emotions. Some people act off impulse. Then you have some psychopaths running around and some sociopaths. That's something nobody wants to talk about. The police doing the best they can do. I'm not the police, but I understand that this gun violence has got to come to an end. Too many families are suffering out here. It's just way too much going on. And when them bullets start flying, man, that's a whole nother level of understanding life. Them bullets, man, it's rough. I know so many people that have been shot out here. I visit some brothers and sisters at the hospitals, and it's not a good sight to see. I just wish that black men would do their best to tap a guy on the shoulder first and say, man, I have an issue with you. We need to have a conversation before you take a life. Let's bring Kay on the line. Kay, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you?
How's it going?
Great. It's going great. I was putting something in the Facebook page, what God was going by, where God says in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways, he would heal the land, and we need our land healed. But with the violence, it's economics. Because even when you go back to Al Capone, because my husband watches Godfather religiously, it's all about economics. So I think with us, well, back in the 30s, like you said, it was economics with the gangsters because they were taking over the economics of the, the different
alcohol
people,
business and everything.
Right. And then in the 40s and 50s, we had our own businesses, so we weren't engaged in violence. We had our violent people, but we had, we
was
doing
unity back in the 50s.
Right, because we had our legitimate businesses economically, so we could take care of our kids. And then when they start putting the crack and the guns and stuff, we don't have that economic base. So now we turn back to violence. But these children, and it's not them, it's a spirit. The spirit of violence has morphed into something else where it's a pleasure to kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's morphed into something else that you was talking about. You got to know the mind of a killer. So I think we got to first go back to 2 Chronicles, where it says, turn from our wicked ways and pray to God. Then we got to get the economics together so that our children, because our children are the only one that's not getting hired, and our stuff is unemployment is high because we don't have an economic base. Everybody else might be doing violence, but they have an economic base for their babies. So we got to get the economic base, and then we got to get to education. So there's a way to do it. We just have to systematically do it. But it does start with prayer. And the second step is definitely economics. That's what I wanted to share.
I appreciate you, Kay, because I believe that prayer is very important. For everybody listening, prayer is equally important. But how do we get young people to understand that prayer definitely works? God will deliver for you. He may not deliver in your time, but God always delivers. And how can we get to a point where people understand that spiritual process? And when you have a spiritual foundation, it definitely helps you out in your life. So let's get the next call on. And I want all the calls to hang out. I'll get to all the callers today. Chris, good morning to you.
Brother Hardiman, good morning to you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Grateful to be here.
Love to the WVOM family, and rest in peace, Spencer Lee Jr.
Yeah, definitely.
What I'll say, brother, it's a combination of things. We live by states with lax gun laws. Indiana, the gun runners drop guns in the hood. You had a couple years back, the rail yards, Jedediah. They had dropped a truck in the hood full of Nikes, red bottoms and stuff, like a bait truck.
I remember that.
You got economics, the police policies. Long as crime was high on the south and west side, they did not care. Then when they go in the white areas, north side, then, different change in policies. There's also been a breakdown in the church, brother. There's also been a breakdown in the educational system. And then some of the government policies like Iran-Contra, where they were, selling drugs in the black area. It's just and the breakdown of the black family is a combination of ills. Is not just one. It's just a perfect storm combination. We have to come together. We have to be better. Working on that family unit, but it's a lot of different ills, and it's like a perfect storm. Like I said, dropping the guns, the police corral the guns. Then sometimes.
Let me ask you this, Brother Chris. Do you believe that the slave plantation mentality has a little bit to do with our mindset, even though that happened way back then? But the point I'm trying to make, even Malcolm X talked about it, how you had the house brother and you had the field brother, right? And there was an automatic resentment that was built because the house brother was closer to the master, and the brothers in the field was looking at the house brother like he was their enemy. And then there became a lot of jealousy of the house brother because the field brothers believed that everybody should have been in the field. And now then it dictated that I got to get my own. If everybody else, I got to get mine for me. Do you think that has anything to do with the psychology of what's going on with our people?
I think that's always been an issue, and it will continue to be an issue. With the lack of resources, high unemployment, lack of contracts. It's like I said, up here in Chicago, Illinois, it's just a perfect storm of things, and not to, the deaths, the killings and stuff, which is direct proximity. You're in a black area.
Yeah.
You're going to be victimized by a black person, white, victimized by a white person, Latino.
Well, white Caucasian people kill each other pretty much like the same rate that black people kill one another, and Hispanics kill one another the same. And I know it's a lot of emphasis on black, violence, but I want to make that known just for the record that the numbers are not the same. But white, well, the bottom line, you're part of a different culture. You end up hurting your own people. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, but this white media ain't gonna report it the same. If it bleeds, it leads. So the bad news get all the publicity because they trying to sell their paper, and they trying to sell, the what you call it, like the digital stuff. So of course, just like the FBI put out about 10 years ago, homegrown terrorists, homegrown white lone wolf males were the highest priority to look out for the violent crime in the United States, brother.
Always.
Like I said, we got to get it together as a family unit. There's a lot of ills, a lot of stuff that so the black people can't rise, but we got to come together, else we gonna be decimated, brother.
So before I let you get out of here, give me one solution, bro. Give me one solution that you think might be feasible. In other words,
we gotta solve our own problems. Punch up. The cavalry ain't coming, brother.
Okay, got you. I appreciate you. All right.
Much love, brother Hardiman. Thank you, man.
Know it. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there as well. All right, that's what's going on. My topic this morning is why is Chicago so violent? But Chicago's not the only violent city in the United States. You have violence going on across the entire universe. You have wars going on in Ukraine, Russia, the war with Iran, violence has been around like the great plagues of the world. So it's not like violence is just something that's like separated. It's just, it happens and it's crazy. There's no method to the madness sometimes, but at the same time, you have to always keep yourself security conscious and mindful of the fact that anything could turn at any given time. All right. So I'm looking at, you can call in 773-591-1690, 773-591-1690. Give me a call. So let's get Frank in here. Then I get to Andre, Brother Hall, and David. I'm answering the calls as they call in. All right. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Tio.
What's up?
Everyone. And happy holiday to you. Happy Father's Day to everyone. But Tio, I'm going to go kind of quick. Something, first of all, I'm not going to let their media.
Take your time.
Okay. I'm not going to let their media brainwash me to think our people are so violent that we got to be front page news all the time. Bottom line is the violence is happening in Chicago for the same reason it's happening all over the respective country, because there's no incentive not to do it. Case in point, in the blue states, like Illinois, where us Democrats are in total control, we are not going as hard to the left as Republicans in the states that they control are going to the right. Because if we were, we wouldn't have the violence. Because you know why? We would have, at least locally, universal health care, universal education, and here's the key to violence, a universal basic guaranteed income. You put stipulations to that program, any crime that you commit and get you kicked off that program will come down percentage-wise into the zero. Point number 2, Black people are not the most violent people in this country. The most violent people in this country is, always have been, and always will be, the Caucasian male. There's no Black person dropping bombs. Still, you just hit it right where I was going. There's no Black person dropping bombs on people, killing tens of thousands, 100,000, millions of people at a time. There's a white man.
Let me say this, Brother Frank. Do you believe this? There are a lot of things taking place in the world in regards to our security in the United States that we're not privy to all the information that's going on. But in order to sustain a country like the United States, you have to be proactive to a degree, right? And preemptive, because you got powers that would love to take over our country, correct?
Yes, I agree with you, 100%.
That doesn't mean we need to bomb people. That doesn't mean we need to hurt other people. Do I understand?
But there's no Black man in this country, in this city, or in this country that's cutting health care, that's causing deaths of tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, many people get out and get sick and die. It's a Caucasian male. doing that. There's no black person in this country that is cutting SNAP, cutting food programs, which is going to lead to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people starving, going hungry. That's a Caucasian male in the White House for doing that. Now, we can do something locally to fix our family structure, okay, in regards to the black man being inside the house. But see, that's up to him. I already spoke on that. But I'm going to tell you something. The violence can be brought down. Now, if you want to talk about prayer, yes, I believe in prayer. Yes, I sure do. But you understand something? God said you got to take one step towards him, he'll take two towards you.
Yeah, I'm a living
the
testimony, living
the
witness to that.
The problem we having with prayer and God, a whole lot of us think about God only when it benefits us. But when God ordains us to conduct ourselves in a certain way, especially in our marriages, and it takes away from lust, oh, God don't exist then. I wish I could say more, but listen, people, don't fall for the okie doke.
All right.
Blue tape, fix your problem here, okay? Black man, protect yourself from losing custody. Your children, when you're doing wrong, both can be done. That's my piece on it. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you, my brother. Good call from Brother Frank, everybody. So we're going to keep the callers calling in. We got the phone lines are lighting up all over again, so let's keep it going. Brother Andre, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you there, Brother Tio. How you feel this morning?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm feeling pretty good. I cannot complain. I'm grateful to be up and kicking, put it like that.
Likewise, and you did do Peebo Bryson some justice this morning. You sounded good.
Peebo was one of the guys I really respected growing up in Chicago. Now, I think the man had an excellent voice, man, a real ladies' man. That's back when the brothers was really getting down, man, in my opinion, right?
Well, you're absolutely right, Tio, and that says something when you got mass appeal like Peebo, because black folks and white folks like Peebo, like the way he's sing. When you got that type of mass appeal, that's saying something right there.
Yes, indeed.
So, AT, I want to address the issue of violence that you talked about. First of all, I want to say I don't like it when people call and say that black people are going through something because we turn our back on God. Like Brother Frank say, 90% of black people are doing something good out here. Most of us are doing something good. We living right and we doing right. So, I mean, how does Darvin explain the fact that Dylan Roof went up in the church where black people was up in the church praying, and you go up in there and kill a pastor? These black people on their knees praying, having Bible study. So I don't like when people talk about we going through something because we did something wrong. No, we haven't turned our back on God. The church is full of black folk every Sunday, and we living right out here.
Yeah, I agree with you. The churches are full for real, full to the brim.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about this violence, I'm going to take you back to the movie that you and I both like, which is called Superfly. When you looked at the Superfly movie, Superfly was selling drugs and whatnot, but where were they getting them drugs from? It was a white guy behind the scenes, that police chief that was supplying the drugs right there, right? I say, what's going on with the violence in Chicago? Some of the violence in Chicago is homegrown, but the rest of the violence is perpetrated. Why is it perpetrated? Genocide. See, I'm willing to bet you, Tio, that 90% of these young offenders out here in the street don't even know what genocide is, and they need to explain to them. These young boys need to know that it's genocide, that these guns and drugs has been put in the community to obstruct you and to decimate the community and whatnot, and then for y'all to kill up each other and whatnot.
Well, let me ask you a question, Andre. I'm looking across the nation. In Ohio, you got a black militia in Ohio. The Ku Klux Klan had been marching, so the brothers formed a black militia. In parts of Georgia, Louisiana, you have black militias whenever there's something that takes place outside of black folks. But why the black militia will not organize to stop the killing in their own community? Answer that. Why is it that all these thousands of brothers come together with assault rifles? They come together talking strong talk, but when they come to stopping killers in their own community, they don't get down like that, bro. Somebody answer that question for me, seriously.
No, I got what you're saying.
And I see it all the time, brother Andre, all the time.
Yeah, you're saying that these brothers unified around the cause, right?
Yes.
Well,
yeah, they do.
See, like I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, Tio, is like the Black Panther Party got infiltrated. They had the right to bear arms. We got the right to bear arms, and we can come together and police our own community. Yes, we can do that. I agree with you 110%. But it's like I say in the movie Superfly, some of our violence in Chicago is homegrown, but the rest of it is perpetrated.
Okay.
You got agent provocateurs in the community spraying dope around, spraying guns around. You got them spraying lies about each other and whatnot. the brothers need a message out here, and the sisters need a message about genocide and what genocide is, and how it was used to decimate, destroy our community, and cause us to hate and kill out one another. See, that's a good movie in Superfly, because it's more than just a movie. It's a whole lot of reality into that movie there.
Well, Superfly told the Revolutionary Brothers in that movie, they came to try to stand on him. In other words, trying to pressure him. And he told them, look, if you guys are serious about the movement, he'll be the first in line. But until then, get up out my face. That's what he told them guys.
Exactly. He sure did. He told when you get ready to go down on Whitey, then you call me and I'll be there until you, in other words, until you do something. Don't say nothing to me about getting my program together. But see, that's what's going on in the neighborhood. Right. And that was a cold name too, Tio. Scatter was a cold handle.
Yeah, Scatter, yeah. But in the Mac, the movie The Mac, that's the same thing Goldie told his brother. But his brother had to come back to rescue him in the end. You saw that in the Mac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it happens, man. Yeah. These are good conversations, Brother Andre. We just need a lot of help in Black Chicago right now.
Yeah, we do. What I'd like to see to deal with that violence, Tio, is this. I used to work down on Rockwell. And before I got a ride, I used to take the Dan Ryan train back and forth to work, right? And when you go to the train, even at 95th Street, you used to see these ministers and people at the church out there passing out these tracts. I think they stopped there. We need to get back to printing up tracts and pass out to people out there in the streets and pass out to these young brothers in the streets to get them something to read.
No, I appreciate it.
Give them some knowledge. Give them some knowledge. And now you often talk about Malcolm X. When you look at the Malcolm X movie, and the guy came at Malcolm X in the movie, came at Denzel, he said, that's all right. The brothers just need some knowledge. That's all. He said, leave him alone. He just needs some knowledge. Well, that's the way I see it, man. These brothers need to be educated out there. Incarceration without education is decimation.
All right, Brother Andre.
That's going on in the community.
I appreciate you this morning. It's Brother Andre, everybody. So I'll get to all the callers. I just want to say my topic today is why is Chicago so violent and what more can be done? There are a lot of groups out there doing the best they can do to try to stop the violence. We're doing our best to try to keep young people busy during the summer. Planet Fitness, they have offered like free gym time, like you can go work out, through the summertime. I think from June 20th all the way down to the end of August. So people are doing the best they can to service young people. A lot of the parks are open a little later now. You got Ceasefire Hardiman organizing basketball clinics for young people. So people, the violence interrupters out there, all the groups out there doing the best they can do. All right, let's get Brother Hall on here. Brother Hall, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Dr. Tio. Let me just thank the WVON listening audience. As people say they're the smartest, I truly believe in that. But let me give a personal thanks to Brother Andre and Sister Kate and Frank and Chris, because they put it together, brother. Listen to this. It's obvious that we're being shortchanged by somebody. Now, who is that somebody? Who runs this state? Who runs these cities? We can't keep talking about what our children should do if, in fact, everybody get a slice of bread with us. And I'm not saying that should be the thing that we're depending on somebody to give us something. But if, in fact, that our children could look forward to saying, I got me a summer job, he got that option, or she got that option. They don't have that option, brother. That's very politically connected.
It's right? Deep. It's really deep.
Yeah, so I'm saying, brother, this, Chris, Tio. We have to stop covering up for these politicians that have these suits, but they don't wear them. You heard one on yesterday, Willie Preston. From a dry bones perspective, that brother is in the mix. Why? Because he come from that.
Yeah, Senator Preston is a good friend of mine, and Senator Preston, no one's perfect in the world, but he walked the streets with me, man, over in the Inglewood community for years. I'm talking about before all this. Yeah, he paid his dues from the bottom to the top. I had to give him credit where it's due.
He's my point. That's my point, brother. Yeah. So we can't keep, trying to push this off on our children. I got a number of children, and I know many of them are grown now, but I know that it wasn't that easy for them. And they ain't always been no saints. But
That's
the
correct.
fact of the matter is that the rules change when it comes to black folks. Don't get this twisted. Most of this stuff is by design. Because if it's not happening in Evergreen, why is it happening in Woodmont? Man, please.
I understand, brother. I appreciate that, brother. All.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro, and I'll be in touch.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Without a doubt. We're going to keep the conversation going, my brother. Why is Chicago so violent? Good morning, Anita.
Hey, Tio.
Yes.
Well, the big corporations was moving African Americans out of the black community and relocating them to the south suburbs. So they
say the big corporations was moving black folks out of the city, and
all that.
I mean, break that down for me, Anita. How did the big corporations move black folks out of Chicago? Give me some background on that.
Okay, aren't they building those expensive homes? They're doing it here.
Now I understand the building the homes, but what corporation leader actually moved black folks out of Chicago? That's what I want to know, Anita.
That's who own those big Those who owns those all those massive apartments and condos.
I know what you're saying. I understand the mindset.
I don't know them by name, but they started doing it. And I had to move out of Richmond Park because when they was replacing people and they put them in Harvey and blame my friend Eric for what they were doing. Okay, so that's one of our problems. And they're doing it here in North Carolina too. They got Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill. They're building homes.
I've traveled to North Carolina a few times. Yes, indeed.
Basic apartment, 2 bathrooms, 2 beds, 1,100 square feet.
Okay.
2 years ago it was $850,000. Okay, and that's everywhere here. Okay, and the people are fighting. You know, why are they not paying so that people can afford these things? So that's one of the things that's wrong. They just take over your land, and they always have done that to us. And then another thing that's wrong is Elijah Muhammad tried to tell women that you have a role in the family too. You shouldn't be out working when your children's mind is developing. Okay, and he told the men to go out to work. He had a school where he was training the boys to work. He made sure the boys had education. My children's father actually graduated from his 6th grade.
Elijah Muhammad had a good solution. He helped clean up so many young black men and women. It was amazing what he did. I give him credit where it's due, okay? He was really responsible for Malcolm X. Elijah Muhammad was responsible for the transformation of Malcolm X, without a doubt, even though it became problematic later on. But that happens in life, but we got to give Elijah Muhammad his due respect.
I'll say one more thing.
Yes, indeed.
My children's father had a 13-year-old mother. He took her there because she said she was not confessing to the Catholic priest.
Wow.
And he sent 9 children to college, and he had a 13-year-old mother. He graduated from Elijah Muhammad 8th grade and 12th grade, and while Elijah Muhammad was living. Okay. So it can be done. I'm not acting like I need to listen to white people who don't know anything. All they do is raise college-educated drug addicts. Okay, I'm not interested in that. Come down here, you'll see them everywhere. Bunch of white drug addicts. All right.
Thank
so
you,
white
Anita.
people is not the direction. Elijah Muhammad was it.
I appreciate your call, Miss Anita. Like, we love all people of the planet Earth. You know, I'm a universal brother myself. I don't get caught up. I'm a black man in America. I have to say that first, but I don't get caught up in all the other stuff anymore because it's all about trying to unify humanity if we can. That's only if we can. There are a lot of barriers that stand in the way. Don't get me wrong. I understand. Let's get Brother Robert on the line, then Jimmy and Randy. I'll get to y'all in a second or two. Robert, good morning to you.
Good morning, Theo.
Yes.
I want to say condolences to Peebo Bryson's family as well.
Yes,
he was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that golden, silky voice.
That's our man, Peebo Bryson. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I want to say, I know I don't have all the answers, but I know it's a lot of high-profile people who benefited from Chicago.
Okay.
And they're not beholden to do anything, but you know, when kids are being killed over their gym shoes, I'm not going to mention names, or it's big hoopla over presidential centers being open. A lot of that focus, or a lot of their focus, they can help at least speak out. I think that people will listen to them. They have a voice. And they can lend that to the community. As far as a militia, you know, it would be great to have one. We need more self-love or to teach.
No, see, the militia would bring forth self-love, Robert. What I'm saying is that I've seen brothers unify nationwide when the Ku Klux Klan march. I've seen them come together on different issues, but when it comes to black folks killing each other, there is no militia. There's no real ground level troops that are organized, man, to help stop the killing in the black community, man. I mean, you know, and I know a lot of these killings can be prevented. You have to have the right people. Like, we do the best we can do. A lot of organizations out here working on behalf of stopping the killing. But right now, there's a need for strong black leadership to hit these streets of Chicago and take it to the brothers and bring them brothers to the table of peace with strong love. I'm not talking about going out there standing on them a certain way, which that'll lead to another type of conflict. But if you can organize a militia for other things, you know, why not organize one to save your own people? We got to save our own people, bro.
Right, and I get that, and a lot of this built on relationships. I get that part too, and that's why it's an all hands on deck
for sure
type of thing.
All right.
You know, I don't have all the answers, but I know we got to start there, and I wish from the Black Panther Party of the '60s, I wish by today it went to a higher level. And
no doubt,
if we can get that there, that would be helpful as well. But black men got to come together as well. We all got to come together.
I'm going to have to let you go now, Robert, because I got to get these other two covered. I appreciate you, bro.
All right. Thank you.
Much respect to you.
Much respect. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy, good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing?
All right. Got to make it kind of quick because I only got about 5 more minutes, bro.
Okay, well, I'm going to be real with you. These kids are being programmed. It started when they took religion out of school, technology, entertainment. When they glorified the killing, they got killers walking up and down the street at 15 years old that have already gotten away with murder.
Yeah.
You got a lot of murders walking up and down the street that you don't even know about.
Without a doubt.
And these kids got pistols at 14 years old.
Yes.
And they glorify killing because they do it because they believe they can get away with it. That's the bottom line.
All right, bro.
Appreciate that. They can get away with it.
Yes, indeed. That's Brother Jimmy. Thank you, bro. Let me get Randy in real quick. Good morning, Randy.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'll be real quick. One, I think we need some rights of passage programs to deal with our youth and everything in terms of, properly training them. Two, we need to put together basically a master plan, like this from the Children of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams with the rebirth of Black civilization. We need to understand that much of this stuff, like Brother Andre, as with Brother Frank, and raised some really good points and excellent points and stuff concerning how we should address these issues and stuff like that. And that a lot of it is outside agitators, well, people on the inside, because this was part of COINTELPRO. See, the old British action is to divide, conquer, and rule. So my thing is this: we have to understand this. There's a book called The Politics of Black Empowerment by James Jennings, and get off the Chancellor book, and also Miseducation and Legal by Carter G. Woodson, and Education and Legal by Carter G. Woodson. And let's start executing the plan and stuff. Let's start doing some stuff in the community and doing just like what Darvin talks about. We need to do some other stuff in the community, but I do not believe in blaming that thing on us in terms of not following God's plan and stuff, because we are people of God and we have been doing the right thing and stuff. We need to also include the role of racism and white supremacy. And that's it. So keep it excellent work. I appreciate you. And much respect to Spencer Lee.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, Brother Randy. Yes, indeed. So I want to thank all the callers this morning. I thought we had so many callers calling in on a Father's Day here, and send our condolences out to the Leak family. Spencer Leak Jr. passed away, untimely death, and death is oftentimes untimely. That's just the way it goes. And Brother Super Soul singer Peebo Bryson and all the good people in the world. One of my friends called me, his son was killed over the weekend is also. So death, I guess, is a part of life. It's crazy as it's crazy to say this, but I was one of them guys that thought I would live forever. You couldn't even tell me that I had an expiration date, because when I was much younger, I thought that, look here, man, life is what it is. But I want to send a heartfelt, like I say, message out to all the good people out here in the universe. And if you're a young black man or young black woman doing okay in your life, just keep it going. Do your best to strive and not just survive. Do your best to put something up for a rainy day. I still volunteer down to Cook County Jail, and I talk to young brothers, and I tell the young brothers the truth. The street game really is it's all theatrical, man, because once the smoke clears, you dealing with hardcore reality and sitting in one of them jail cells the rest of your life. It's no fun for anybody. So if you can avoid a confrontation, it's better to be at peace than to be at war anytime. So no matter who you are, it's better to be at peace than to be at war. I don't have no enemies, man. No enemies that I know about. Just put it like that. See, I don't go out here looking to try to start nothing with nobody. When I see drama coming, I try to remove myself from any form of type of drama in my life or anywhere in the universe, because it's not going to pay off in the end. We know life is a slow process, my people. It's not like things are moving as fast as people think they are. You see a lot of people, cars moving around, people talking fast, people doing this or that. But in reality, life slows down, no matter who you are. You go to work, you come home, you pay your bills, and even if you're not working, you got to be at the house taking care of your family. Whatever the case may be, life is a slow process, right? So do your best to uplift people if you can and stay away from negativity. I want to thank Terry Bishop for being here, the executive producer of the Tio Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman show, and Shapira on the boards for us, right? And Brother Peebo Bryson, once again, want to send a shout out to one of the baddest brothers that I used to listen to when I was growing up, you know, over and over again. I try to tell myself that we could never be more than friends. And all the while inside, I knew it was real, the way you make me feel. That was Peebo's version of The Closer I Get to You with Roberta Flack. And I want to just say that with all due respect, we're going to miss Brother Peebo, one of the coolest brothers in the universe to me, one of the coolest brothers. So with that being said, it's been a dynamic show once again every Sunday. Tio Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman, and I'm out of here. Peace. Happy Father's Day to the world. Happy Father's Day, my good.
Ceasefire. They call him Mr. Ceasefire. Stop it, shootings and killings almost